According to the MOU, under the management framework that Iran will adopt, the Strait of Hormuz will return to its pre-war capacity within 30 days, following the removal of impediments by the Islamic Republic of Iran. Any interference in this matter, or any attempt to establish new or separate arrangements outside those currently being pursued by the Islamic Republic of Iran, will only lead to further complications, delay the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, and heighten tensions. As we witnessed during the incidents in the Strait of Hormuz over the past 2 nights, which resulted in increased tensions and clashes, I call upon all parties to refrain from interfering in the management of the Strait of Hormuz and the reopening arrangements being implemented by Iran. I also urge them to strictly adhere to the signed MOU and to prevent it from being derailed from its intended course. The third objective of my trip is the necessary coordination for the funeral procession of the pure body of the martyred leader of Iran in the cities of Baghdad, Kardamain, Karbala, and Najaf. Millions of Iraqis had announced their readiness and had requested to participate in this funeral. Finally, with the wisdom of the Iraqi government and the highly commendable cooperation of the Iraqi government, it was decided that the funeral procession of the pure body would take place in the cities of Iraq, especially in the holy shrines. We are very grateful to the Iraqi government, and we thank the Prime Minister of Iraq for forming a committee for this purpose. Today, we will have joint meetings with that committee to finalize the latest coordination and cooperation that needs to take place, and God willing, this great event will be carried out with full splendor. According to the MOU, under the management framework that Iran will adopt, the Strait of Hormuz will return to its pre-war capacity within 30 days, following the removal of impediments by the Islamic Republic of Iran. These measures are currently being adopted and implemented, and responsibility for them rests solely with the Islamic Republic of Iran, in accordance with the signed MOU. No other entity or country bears any responsibility in this regard. Any interference in this matter, or any attempt to establish new or separate arrangements outside those currently being pursued by the Islamic Republic of Iran, will only lead to further complications, delay the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, and heighten tensions. As we witnessed during the incidents in the Strait of Hormuz over the past 2 nights, which resulted in increased tensions and clashes, I call upon all parties to refrain from interfering in the management of the Strait of Hormuz and the reopening arrangements being implemented by Iran. I also urge them to strictly adhere to the signed MOU and to prevent it from being derailed from its intended course. Likewise, under Clause 1 of the MOU, the war on all fronts, including in Lebanon, must cease. We regret that the Zionist regime has persisted in, and continues to carry out, its attacks. The U.S. government bears the responsibility, in line with the commitment it undertook in the MOU on its own behalf and on behalf of the Zionist regime, to halt these attacks, secure a cessation of hostilities there as well, and ensure a withdrawal from occupied territories, all of which are stipulated in Clause 1 of the MOU. Today, I discussed this matter with Mr. Fuad Hussein, and we also exchanged views on the region's security and its future security architecture. The recent war has offered numerous lessons for all countries in the region, and I believe that, given the new approach that has emerged, the security of the vital Persian Gulf region must be reassessed collectively by all regional states. We must establish a new framework that includes all countries of the region, without the presence or interference of any external power. In this regard, we welcome Mr. Fuad Hussein's proposal to initiate dialogues among the GCC countries, Iran, and Iraq, which he termed 6+2, and we express our readiness to coordinate with the Iraqi government on this initiative. Iran has called for a new Gulf security order that excludes the United States and all other outside military powers from the region. Iranian Foreign Minister said Tehran is ready to help establish a new regional security framework led by countries within the Gulf. Araghchi said recent wars had demonstrated it was time for Gulf nations to take responsibility for safeguarding their own security. Araghchi made the remarks after holding talks with Iraq's National Security Advisor, according to Iran International. The foreign minister said the proposed regional framework should also promote broader economic cooperation among neighboring countries. Araghchi argued that lasting regional stability could only be achieved through closer coordination and cooperation among Gulf states. He said military powers from outside the region should have no role in shaping the proposed future Gulf security architecture. Tehran presented the proposal as a lesson drawn from the region's recent security crises and repeated military confrontations. IRGC-affiliated FARS said a commentary discussing nuclear weapons did not represent the agency's official editorial position or policy. The agency said the article appeared in its user-generated content section and should not be interpreted as an official fast position. The clarification came after the commentary claimed Iran had no alternative but to obtain a nuclear weapon for deterrence. The article argued nuclear deterrence was the only effective way to eliminate the military option against Iran. The commentary also claimed a nuclear weapon could help keep any future conflict with the U.S. and Israel under control. The article surfaced as the United States and Iran continued exchanging military strikes amid tensions over the Strait of Hormuz. Subsequently, the Wall Street Journal reported U.S. Iran talks in Switzerland had stalled as hostilities between both sides intensified. However, Reuters reported the United States and Iran would continue negotiations as both sides sought to preserve the interim memorandum of understanding. A U.S. official told Reuters the technical discussions would address every major provision contained in the interim memorandum of understanding. The official said commercial shipping would continue moving freely through the Strait of Hormuz while negotiations remained underway. Axios, citing U.S. officials, also reported Washington and Tehran had agreed to halt hostilities while diplomatic efforts continued. The report said both sides were expected to meet in Doha later this week to address their dispute over the Strait of Hormuz. The diplomatic push came after an Iranian official said the planned June 28 talks had been abandoned following recent U.S. strikes. Tehran said the conditions outlined in the interim memorandum of understanding had not been fully implemented before any fresh negotiations.
Well, the president's patience isn't going to last forever. Discussions are ongoing, particularly at a technical level of how to get inspectors in, the downblending, and the other pieces that are focused on ensuring Iran never has a nuclear weapon. But they need to understand their leverage is diminishing by the day. The Gulf Arabs are creating all kinds of alternatives to the Straits of Hormuz. The UAE is moving oil through its pipeline that it's expanding. The Saudi Arabia is moving oil through its pipeline that it's expanding. We will create alternatives to our basing posture there. We will harden some may go underground, others will move. So this leverage that Iran thinks it has now is diminishing faster and faster, literally every week as we speak. And meanwhile, that this is in violation of international law. Even the Chinese government has said you cannot be taking tolls or fees. Iran was apparently relying on Oman across the waterway to help it set up this new infrastructure. And now Oman just yesterday has rejected the idea of tolls or fees. So they're completely isolated here. President Trump's not going to stand for it. And meanwhile, we continue to move ships out by the dozens every day. And world oil prices are not just stable, they're dropping. So Iran's attempt to hold the world hostage and their economies hostage are completely failing. So Iran, as Secretary Rubio just said, Iran has a choice to make. It's going to be a responsible nation, or it can continue down this path to absolute ruin. And don't think for a second that President Trump isn't going to leave every option on the table to achieve not just our aim, the entire world's aim, that Iran never has a nuke.